In this week's episode, is the Glazers' time at Manchester United almost at an end? Jim Ratcliffe's quotes on Ruben Amorim go under the microscope. There's a look ahead to Manchester United versus Liverpool. And we answer more of your questions from the Gummers Mailbag. All this and much more on Fergie's Gum, a Manchester United podcast. Hello and welcome to Fergie's Gum. My name's Nathan Irvine. I'm your host, and I am joined by not one, not two, but three guests today. This week, we have a full lineup of all the Fergie's Gum, well, I guess squad members? Is squad members the right thing? Co-hosts? How would you like to be known? We'll discuss that afterwards. But we've got Paul Cropper, we've got Ethan Chiquetta, and we've also got Ahmad Daher, the returning hero, like Cantona coming back after his ban. Here he is, everyone. So, how are you doing, Ben? How are we doing? Well?
All good.
Always well.
All good.
Always well.
Always well.
Good.
Always well. Always well.
Yeah.
They're just ready and poised. That's why they're being quite cagey right now, because they want to get onto the serious matters of the subjects that we've got for this week's podcast. So we'll jump straight into it. Now, I may sound like a broken record with this, as I usually tend to at the beginning of each podcast, but Manchester United are in the news again, even though they're not playing any football games. It's been a pretty big week. I think the big news that we're about to talk about happened, I think, the following day that we'd recorded this podcast, so obviously we didn't have time to react to it at all. But the top of this running order, we have got, are the Glazers ready to sell Manchester United Football Club? Because over the last 7 days, we had rumours that Glazers were hawking around Manchester United again, looking to get somewhere close to the £5 billion fee that they wanted for this, for the football club in general. That was in part fueled by Turki Al-Sheikh, who is like one of the leading sports people in Saudi Arabia. Anything that is to do with Saudi's football scene, with Ronaldo, with any of the sports that are happening there, WWE, UFC, you name it, Turki Al-Sheikh is part of it. This basically got picked up by the media. The media kind of sat on it for a little bit, and then they were like, oh, actually, maybe we should cover this as well. And it led to this week where they said that it was a UAE consortium that was looking at buying the club, which is, well, I mean, we live in the UAE, all three of us do, out of this podcast. I can't really see that happening. I think it's a bit of mischief making myself, but I thought I'd ask you guys about it. Now, the first person I'm going to go to is the person that doesn't like to deal in facts, or he doesn't like the media in general. So I'm going to go with you, Paul. And I've got a feeling your response to this is going to be pretty strong. So we'll start with you, Cropper. How do you feel about this? What are you thinking?
Nonsense, I think I said, didn't I? Straight away. Absolute gibber. So somebody's up to something is my... Do you know what? It's difficult to just to go, it's absolute nonsense, but it's funny, isn't it? When the Glazers came out and they said that it looked like they were going to sell in the first place and Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos came in, I think I've been ruined by the hope that a full sale was going to be done then. I think that's what all United fans wanted. We didn't want a part sale where the Glazers kept the toe in and they were just, I think, 51% ownership. They're still there. We wanted them gone and we wanted the debts gone. That's all United fans. Don't matter who it was, as long as the debts were gone. And that's the hope that we all had. And when it became clear, I think there wasn't actually an offer there, because there was a tease there, wasn't there? And we were like, this is what we want, this is what... Some people were worried about the sports washing, etc. and things like that. But a full sale with debts cleared is what we all wanted. And when that didn't actually materialise, that's just ruined me, basically. I'm just now, so if there's any rumour of that happening, I kind of think, my initial things when I saw it was, no, it's just not a real thing. I know what you're going to say, there's no smoke without fire, etc. But the timing of it, the fact that Jim is still doing what he's doing, the money he's put into it already, I know he's not got any say if a full offer comes in, he's going to be able to match it, and I don't think he's got the money to match it. The actual, the price that they want, like you said, is close to $5 billion. I think the valuation is 3.3 around there. If the Glazers want to be bought out with a ridiculous offer, people aren't going to do that. And then there's there's another billion or however much it is for a new stadium they're going to have to put in, and it's going to take an extraordinary offer to get the Glazers out, and I just don't think anybody's going to do it. And that's why straight away I just thought, no, it's not going to. There's always going to be rumours of people wanting to buy United, but until that offer comes there, right, there you go, and nobody's going to do it. It's a stupid amount of money for a club that, where are we at the minute? Yeah, I just don't see it. I hope it happens, Nathan. I just, straight away, I don't see it.
That's what I was going to say. Surely all four of us can probably say that there was a fizz of excitement, even whether it was true or not. But once those stories started to come out, I think we all looked at this and was like, please, this might be the time when we can finally get rid of the Glazers. Because let's be honest, as you mentioned there, Paul, that is the big thing, right? That's what we all want. Whether it's true or not, Ahmad, this is what we want, right? We want the Glazers out, gone.
Yeah, 100%. And like touching on what Paul was saying, that when the takeover news first came, like 2 or 3 years back, we all wanted a full sale, but eventually it just happened to be a part sale. And that gave us the impression that the Glazers want to keep part of the club to themselves. But then again, like, it doesn't make sense that they included these drag-along rights that they put in their deal with Ineos and Surgeon, because, like, I think actually this shows that they might actually want to have a full sale, because now they are. I think it is very possible that they are negotiating with other parties. Like, other parties are coming in. They might get the price that they want, and yeah, according to the reports, that they would prefer to sell before, I think, February 2027, because that's when they would get like the most money from it. So if there is a time that it would actually happen, I think, yeah, it's very possible that something is happening behind the scenes, but I think it would be in its very, very early stages.
Just to cover and go back on what you was talking about there with the drag-along clauses that's in Ratcliffe's contract with the Glazers. It basically means that obviously he has a minority share agreement. However, if the Glazers decide that they want to sell the club and they get the price that they want, he's either forced to match that or he's just booted out. I think he gets money out of the club, but at the share price that he entered with, not the share price that it's at now, which I think he entered at, and I'm probably going to get my sums wrong here, but I think he entered at something like $33 a share, which is nowhere near that now. It's literally nowhere near that on the stock exchange. So it would mean that Ineos and Ratcliffe are in a really precarious position, for example. But at the end of the day, it feels like when you think about business in general and the way that, like, big corporations operate, I would imagine every club, every business, even Apple, Microsoft, they might seem steady and they might seem like, and like even Amazon, they might seem like these steady institutions that would never ever change anything. But surely behind the scenes, there's people coming in every week. Do you want to sell this? Do you want to do that? Do you want to do a partnership? That's just pure business. But one of the interesting things is, and I'll go to you with this, Ethan, is out of all of this, and it would be very clever and, well, sly of the Glazers to be doing this, but do you think there's a possibility that they brought Jim Ratcliffe in to do the dirty work in cleaning up the club and getting the redundancies in place and becoming that bad guy, so that they could go, right, off we go and sell it to someone else now that we're a profitable club again?
I mean, 100%. I think the first thing I want to mention is that Turkey Al-Sheh is acting like a Fabrizio or like a David Ornstein reporting on United.
Yeah, he's a loose cannon. He is a loose cannon, and there's no stopping him from saying anything. But he's so connected to like MBS in Saudi Arabia that nothing in this region, sports wise, would happen without him knowing it.
Yeah, that's so interesting there. But I think to be honest, I really think this is like this is kind of like a way the Glazers are trying to force Jim to kind of like, it's time to pay up, by I think the Glazers are done. They're out now, or they want to be out. That 5 billion, I don't think, like Paul had mentioned, I don't think anyone's really gonna fork out that like 5 billion, because even market value is what, 3.3
Yeah. 3, I think.
to
Yeah,
4
yeah.
to 4 billion.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I think at the moment, Jim really has been doing the dirty work. He's been the face of the dirty work. I think from hiring this person to raising the ticket prices to reducing costs, firing certain people. So I think he's really been doing the rounds as the dirty person, or yeah, the fall guy for
bad
some of
guy.
these things.
Yeah.
The bad guy for these things. So yeah, I think, I don't know. This is very interesting, but like Paul said, I don't think anyone's really gonna buy, or the UAE consortium is really, it's anything really, to be fair.
Just touching on the UAE aspect of it, because as I said before, 3 of us live out here, so we kind of know the lay of the land. Not that we have a direct contact with the royal families or anything like that, or not that I'm aware of. You guys might be sitting on gold thrones right now, but I'm certainly not. But the fact that Manchester City are already owned by Abu Dhabi,
So,
which is, when we talk about the UAE, Abu Dhabi is the capital. It's already put so much money into Manchester City. It would be quite the thing if it was Dubai that bought Manchester United, because it would be literally red versus blue. Now, to give Paul this, to try and fill you in on the details there, mate, it's a unspoken rivalry between the two Emirates, right? So they don't really talk about it. It's all one happy union, of course, but there are distinct things that kind of separates Dubai from Abu Dhabi. And when you look at it, it's like Dubai is the party capital. That's what people kind of know it as. It's it's a place where families come to enjoy life. Abu Dhabi is more of a kind of serious, bit more slower paced emirate, should I say. But when you go to when you're driving from Dubai to Abu Dhabi, or the other way, as soon as you hit the border, and I'm talking like the literal line that you would see drawn on a map, the roads change in colour, and the lights change, and the fences around the side of the road change. That's how much they want to differentiate between the two Emirates. It's like, you are now in Dubai because these signs and the lampposts say you're in Dubai. You're not in Abu Dhabi anymore. They are separate. So it would be interesting to me to see if Dubai would do that, because the ramifications of that for this region would be huge. Like they will try to get the red versus blue thing going on on a fan basis. But I don't know. When we talk about big money, Dubai isn't the place that has the big money. It's Abu Dhabi, and that's why they went and bought Manchester City. But Ahmad, with regards to this, like if it did turn out to be Dubai that was purchasing Manchester United, and they did clear the debt, and it was a price, whatever the price was, he got rid of the Glazers. How do you think? I know how we would receive it, but how do you think the outside world would receive that type of news? Because there's already controversy with Qatar's bid and things like that.
First of all, I'm not sure what consortium actually means, because like they're always talking about UAE consortium, so I don't think it would be like governmental as it is with
True.
the Abu Dhabi purchase of Man City. So I think
you're right. I think it would probably be more likely it would be someone like Faza that would be in a consortium with someone like business leaders from here. You've got Binance, you've got the leader of Telegram here. These people are billionaires, so that could be the consortium as part of Dubai. But yeah, you're right.
But Yeah, like in general, even if it were to be Dubai, like the government or whatever, I don't think it matters. Like people like to make a big deal out of everything. We're saying it like, okay, the world is moving towards this direction. Like things aren't as what everyone would want it to be. And when it comes to like football ownership, I don't think anyone is ever going to be satisfied unless it was like, for example, how it was a long time before or for example, how it is in Germany, that the fans own 51% of the club. I think that would be ideal. But otherwise, if it was Qatar or if it was Dubai or if it is actually like Sir Jim Mandinios, like he's British and like he's from Manchester and he's a local boy and whatever, people are always still finding issues with everything because like they dug out dirt on Sir Jim and on Ineos because that's just what people do. And when it comes to United, yeah, it just becomes 100 times even more magnified. So if it was Dubai to like own the club, yeah, people are gonna talk and we're gonna find reports, especially from the British media. They're gonna try to make it seem worse than what it is. But honestly, for me, like I don't care. Like as long as they run the football club properly and they give us what we want, which is not something like extraordinary that the fans are asking, and the bar is so low actually at the moment. Yeah, I think it's yeah, I'll welcome it.
Paul, I'll leave you for the last word on this, really, because obviously you're a match day going fan. Is the main thing for you that the Glazers have gone, whether that's Jim Ratcliffe that takes over, or whether that's like, you know, a different set of owners that come in or investors? Is that the main thing for you? Is it just get rid of that debt and get us back to
Yes.
where we were previously?
Yeah, 100%. It's the debt that's is pulling us down, it's kept us down, it's dragging us down. And the debt and the fact that the Glazers have just rinsed the club for years and years, just drawn out everything that should have been invested back into the club. And no, they're lining their own pockets. All we want is owners that to run the club respectively. The club will run itself, it'll make its own money. What we don't need is leeches taking all the money out and putting it in their own pocket. We want it to be invested in the youth team, in the stadium, in the facilities. That's where the money should be going, and that's how clubs are run properly. And yeah, that's all we want. The debt cleared, and that is probably the biggest issue, because say if somebody came in and said, right, we're going to offer you 3.5 billion, 4 billion, but then you still got the debt, then you still got the stadium, and that's what makes it an unrealistic purchase for anybody, because it's going to take, like I said, something ridiculous to get the Glazers out, but then it takes probably double to make the club run properly, and that's what makes it unrealistic to me. I was listening to Stefan Borson on TalkSport, who's like the financial expert, and he was asked a similar question, and he put across the fact that he thinks it's very unrealistic, and it's like you said, somebody's up to a bit of mischief here. It's wishful thinking. But going back to your question, we just want the Glazers gone, and then we can move on, aren't we? That's all we want. Simple. But unfortunately, they're going to dig the nails in and keep scratching, aren't they? Till someone does do something. Eventually, someone will come in and go, there you go, get out. And we'll be, and it doesn't matter who. Don't care who.
Again, Manchester United still in the news, whether they're trying to sell the club or not. We have also got the current minority owner, Jim Ratcliffe, doing an interview with The Times' brand new business podcast, where it wasn't dedicated to Manchester United in terms of what he was talking to the business podcast about, but he did leave, I think, about 6 minutes towards the end where he was asked a few questions about Manchester United. So I kind of wanted to get your views on these. The first of these, in fact, let me ask you this as the first question. I'll go through all three of you. Like, do you rate Jim Ratcliffe? Just yes or no. So, Ethan, do you rate Jim Ratcliffe? Do you think he's good for Manchester United?
Is just yes or no?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Ahmad?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paul?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll be sick in my mouth. No, it's a no from me. and I've got my reasons for it. But let's go through the actual some of the quotes that came out from it. So one of the first things that he talked about, Ethan, was that he says that Ruben Amorim needs 3 years to prove himself. I could have gone to Paul with this, but we know his thoughts on that. He says that Ruben should get 3 years to prove himself as a good coach. I don't know if you watched it or if you listened to it, but did you get a sense of him being genuine when he was saying that?
When I watched it, it kind of seemed like he was kind of like cornered into, giving an answer. But, it's obviously Jim's going to have to back his man. But we must not forget, Jim Ratcliffe is the same person who backed Ten Hag, sacked him. Same person who came through, I'm forgetting the name.
Dan Ashworth?
Director Dan Ashworth sacked him. Same person. So I don't know. I don't really believe anything that comes out of Jim's mouth. But in terms of giving Ruben 3 years, I think maybe they're gonna try and give him 3 years because they have invested in the squad, gotten some of the players he wants. So I think they're gonna try and give him that 3 years. But I don't think if it keeps going the way it's going, he's gonna make it to 3 years. I was pretty much thinking it was gonna be Tuchel. And then because I think I was listening to Talksport as well. I don't think he pretty much likes the England job. But 3 years, this is Manchester United. We've never been a club that gives managers time. Yes, we've got exceptions of Fergie, but from Moyes, Van Gaal, we've never been a club that gives managers time. So I don't understand why we're doing it. With the arguably the worst manager we've ever had.
Yeah, exactly. Statistically, he is. So that there is that. But Ahmad, did you feel like he was obviously pressed on it because originally he started to give an answer. Ratcliffe was about to give an answer on whether or not he thought that Ruben Amorim should be given until the end of the season. That's what the interviewer asked him. That's what he was asked. And the answer that came out was very much a politician, spin doctor. I'll dance around the subject, but I'm not going to answer it until he was pressed. And when he was pressed, as Ethan just mentioned there, when he was backed into a corner with it, I felt I saw in his face that he was angry at being pressed, first of all, and being put on the spot. But I also didn't quite believe that he believed what he was saying. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think so because, like you said, it's all politics. Like you said, it's all politics. So I don't think he has a choice. Like, what else could he have said? Like, what else could he have said? Like, oh no, we're gonna give him to the end of the season, or no, we would sack him if the results weren't there. Like, there's nothing else he can say. He just wanted to, I don't know, get himself out of it. And these things don't really matter because, like, literally, if we lose, for example, 5-0 against Liverpool, he could be sacked the next day. Like, these things don't really, he's not going to say, okay, no, I'm going to keep him regardless of the result just because I said that in that interview. Well, it doesn't really matter to me.
Paul, you would have been delighted with that news about him getting more time, right? But he's, but even still, like, and I just obviously I'll ask you the same type of question as I mentioned to Ahmad there, and I don't know if you've seen the footage, but did it look to you like he was? You've seen it, so did it look to you as if he was like, as if he believed it? Because there was just, I don't know, as Ahmad has said, as Ethan has alluded to, it's Manchester United. We're not used to giving, in the modern age, we're not used to giving managers time. And when he said it, I just kind of felt like if Liverpool give us a pumping at the weekend, then he's gone.
As a poker player, it was a bit of a bluff that one. I'd be raising all over that. Yeah, he looked, like you say, he looked agitated, didn't he, by being pressed. But also, it was the fact. I think the way he answered it was, "This is the only answer I've got," because, like you say, if the next 3-4 results are bad, he felt like he was having to give an answer that wasn't going to come naturally because he knows that this could go anyway. He probably knows himself, doesn't he? So it was a tough one for him. I just wanted to give him a little bit of praise to say at least there's somebody coming out, the ownership are coming out and talking, doing interviews and actually answering questions. This is probably one of the reasons why the Glazers never did it, because everybody picked holes in it. There's body language experts looking at it. There's people like me calling him a bluffer. Do you know, these guys? So let's give him a little bit to say at least he's coming out and talking. Whether we like what he's saying or not, it's irrelevant. Like going back to the 3-year thing, it's all good saying that, but Ruben Amorim has to show improvement over those 3 years, don't he? That goes without saying. Other than that, you just want to see Jim stick to his word. But yeah, let's see what the future holds. Yeah.
And I think a lot of it is to do with saving face, as I've put in the newsletter before, Fergie's Gum on Substack. I put in the newsletter before that they can't afford another crisis or knee-jerk reaction, which is interesting because that's what he referred to. We can't just keep having knee-jerk reactions to what journalists write in the press, to what decisions we make at Manchester United. And obviously, as Ethan mentioned before, Dan Ashworth, you know? And then we look at Erik ten Hag, who, let's not forget, it wasn't just a contract extension. They also let him hire loads more coaches to bring in and to decide how the club was going to move forward. He was never their man in the first place, and he didn't want to be their man. So Omar Barada, Jim Ratcliffe will sit above this. He won't, you know, he's too high above this to take any of the flack. But you look at Omar Barada and you look at Jason Wilcox and how hard they fought to get Ruben Amorim in now. It's on them if it fails. Because if they decide that this is their man, they're going to stick with him through thick and thin, then they have to take the results as they are as well. But for me, he also didn't say, Ratcliffe specifically didn't say he will stay for 3 years. He said he has to prove he will be a good coach across 3 years. That's what he said. Not he will be our coach for 3 years. So I think there is a distinction there. But just moving on to the other parts of the actual interview that he conducted, he's basically turning into, and he's been accused of this before, he's been turned into Jim Glazer, you know, the long lost Glazer brother, because of the way that he does talk about the US owners.
Yeah.
And the fact that he says that they are nice people and that they're just misunderstood. That's one of the reasons why I don't trust him. And that's one of the reasons why everything for him is about legacy. Getting that stadium is going to be about legacy. And that's it. He's the man that brought Manchester United back to where they needed to be. And this huge stadium that they've got will always be remembered from Jim Ratcliffe. But the way he defended the redundancies and the tough decisions and then calling out the Glazers saying that they're nice people. Again, I'll go to you, Ahmad. Like, it's hard to love him. And I know all three of you just said, yes, he's been good for Manchester United, but I look at stuff like that and I'm like, is he? Is he really?
I mean, I get to your point of view as well. I wouldn't say like 100% he is the right man for United, but in general, looking at it, maybe because like we've been traumatized from the Glazers, maybe because like I said, like the standard is so low now, anything that's considered normal or okay is good for us. And in terms of like him, what he says about the Glazers, like honestly, again, he's gonna say that. Like how wouldn't he say that? Like if he's asked about it, what would he say? He can be, even if he thinks otherwise, even if he feels otherwise, he can be as honest as much as he would be. But yeah, like I don't know, like what he's been doing for the club. I know it's not ideal, but I can see improvement. I do. Like, okay, maybe it's not showing on the pitch, but in terms of the club and how it's run, and maybe financially as well, and like the facilities, the training ground, the academy, the new stadium, all these things, and he's done it, and like it's not, he hasn't been there for long, like 2.5 years, 3 years, maybe even less, and that's not easy. Like it's not easy. So that's why I think I'm leaning more towards yes, he's better, he's good for the club, more than no, he's not good.
One of the big contradictions that came out of that, and you just touched on it there, out of the interview, was that he was talking about the standards had slipped with the academy. Now, there's two ways of looking at this. There is the sporting side of it, like saying that they're not competing on all fronts anymore, which would be over the last couple of years a lie, because they've had like really good youth teams going through the system. Might not have been winning the trophies, but they have got some really good youth teams going there. And the other side of it is they haven't been able to sell youth players in the same way that Manchester City, Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool have been able to do, like bringing big money in. Now, he never really defined what that was, but if we're talking about the sporting side of things, he's wide of the mark. The Athletic did a really good thing about how they was, enjoying one of their best periods as a youth academy. But if we're talking about it from a, the best in class, as he likes to say, I don't know if you guys saw it, but in a game against Everton, they had to borrow shorts and socks from Everton because they didn't have enough to go around for I think it was under 17s, maybe under 16s, and they didn't have it. Like when you're hearing stories like that, Ethan, and we're talking about like whether Jim Ratcliffe is good for the club and he's saying things about the academy, like, how does that make you feel about how things are running? And, can we really perform? Can the academy expect anything else when they haven't even got a place to change at the moment?
When you hear stories like this, it's kind of saddening, because I'd really believe that, our academy we've produced some of the best talent, so, I've got nothing else to say besides it's just disappointed, hearing the stories. Just, yes, it's very disheartening.
Well,
Well-
you go to games, don't you? Every now and again, Paul. You go to like the youth academy. You've watched them, right? Am I right
Yeah.
in saying that? You've been to watch them?
Yeah.
So, like they are doing well because they're getting a lot of highlights at the moment, and you can usually judge when you're seeing headlines like, "Oh, Darren Fletcher's doing a fantastic job." Nick Cox, who was there previously, had done a great job. I think he's gone to Newcastle, I want to say, maybe he's gone to somewhere else, like the
Newcastle.
yeah, he's gone to Newcastle. I that just seemed unnecessarily harsh on the academy setup, and I don't know if it's because he's got rid of most of them, so I don't know if it's just because they're on high salaries and he just sees them as zeros and ones on a spreadsheet. But it didn't seem a bit. Did you feel like it was more to do with how we sell those players than it is to do with the actual performances?
Possibly. It's probably got something to do with it because obviously with the PSR, if you sell the kids that are coming through, it goes against it better. I think it's more of a standards thing, I think, Nathan. I was just looking at some of his quotes and he says that it become the level was of mediocrity and it become bloated. I think there was probably people just doing nothing and getting paid fortunes for it, and that's why he seemed to have trimmed down things. You've got to respect that kind of thing and get it streamlined and get the people. If you've got 3 people doing the same job, just have 1, get rid of 2. But it comes back to the press, obviously, highlighting these little things. It's that's what happens at a big club. That's what happens when you're at one of these clubs. A small story of not having socks to us is like, well, what? Why haven't they got? And it could just be a mistake, but it becomes a big story. Do you know what I mean? That kind of thing. It will get highlighted like that. It is a standards issue, though, Nathan. That should go without saying. United should be turning up with the best kit that we've got. The professional on time. That is a standards thing, and that's what we all presume as fans happens. We're finding out now through stories that it doesn't happen, and we all think, well, that's ridiculous. Yeah, it is ridiculous. And Jim Ratcliffe is probably thinking, well, that's ridiculous. So we won't be surprised if someone got a rollicking for that little story coming out or got booted off. So if you're not pulling your weight, get out. Simple. I think I think that's probably how it should be, and that's how you have to run a business. But Jim Ratcliffe is there fending off all these little bits because he's obviously taking the flak for all. The Glazers should have done this, but they couldn't do this because it was all, look, if the Glazers started sacking all these backroom staff and so, it'd be even bigger news. So Jim is there holding off with a big 300 shield, all these stories that are coming at him. But the standards, especially with the youth team, I was listening to Nicky Butt and Paul Scholes yesterday, and he was asked about, because he was doing bits 2-3 years ago. He was part of it.
Yeah.
And Paul Scholes asked him, because he said there's some sort of improvement in the kids team, and Nicky Butt went, no, not really. Because if you look at the England team, the under-21s, the under-18s, the under-17s, under-16s, I think he was saying in all of them, I think we've got 3 players in there. The most of them are Chelsea, Liverpool, Arsenal. So what I think United are finding, City, what United are finding out now is 15, 20 to 25 years ago, United was the place to go if you were a kid, if you were in the academy. Now there's so many different options for them to go to, even abroad. Even you look at what Dortmund are doing. There's a bigger pool and a wider options for these kids to go to. It's not just let's go to United, we'll get in the first team and we'll do well. That's not how it works, and that's why standards have probably slipped. And you're not going to get back there of being the most dominant and getting all the kids through now. You just have to hope you get 1 or 2 that go into your first team. It's not going to be easy to get them standards back up, but all we expect is the small things. And when you do the small things, improve the training ground, do them kind of things, turn up with socks, hopefully that'll improve. But that's another thing that takes time, Nathan.
Yeah. I think they're filling in the gaps with all the people that they've got rid of with Manchester City's academy coaches and staff as well, because they've looked at that model and they've gone, this is what we want for Manchester United. And I think largely that's to do with not the inability to produce like top class players, but more to do with the fact that in terms of a business, that is the model that most teams are using now. Maybe they've always used it, but there's more prominence to it now, especially as teams try to dodge like PSR. So you get like Aston Villa selling like a guy that's made like 1 appearance to Newcastle for X amount of money, and then Newcastle selling another player back to them for X amount of money, and it all looks a bit dodgy. But hopefully they can fix the academy and have high standards, because as you say, they need to be able to sell that project and a pathway to the first team to any prospective like new young talent. JJ Gabriel apparently was on the verge of leaving until Jason Wilcox. I don't think Omar Barada was there, but I think it was Jason Wilcox and Ruben Amorim had like a chat with him to basically say, like, don't leave, like sign your contracts with us. And that would have been a big one if United had have let him go. So anyway, we'll move on to, right, that's enough about non-football stuff, I guess. What we will talk about now, and I don't really want to, but is Liverpool at the weekend. So let's do that. Okay, up next for Manchester United, it is the old enemy at Anfield, Liverpool FC. Can we win this game? Ahmad, can we win it? Is it possible?
And everything is possible.
That's the spirit. That's the spirit. There we go.
I think this is what's nice about football. You never know. But I think whenever anyone mentions Liverpool, Anfield, everyone remembers the 7-0. But yeah, actually, like thinking about it, the past 2 seasons that we've been there, we didn't lose. Last season we actually played really well. We should have won the game, I think. And Liverpool were even better than they are now. And we just need that little bit of belief. Our record there hasn't been the best. Like, I think the last time we won there was like 2016 when Rooney scored that goal under Van Gaal. I think that was the last time we won there, which is insane. But I think with just a little bit of belief, we can get at them, because Liverpool, we're gonna talk about it, but honestly, they're so overrated. Like, they're so overrated. Like, I've been saying this ever since the start of the season. They're so lucky. It's insane, like how they win. How they've been playing so bad, but they're winning. I don't know how. So yeah, I think, and we tend to play better like in the big games, even more so away. So yeah, there is a chance. You never know.
I'm not sure that rings true with the Man City game, but I do see your point to a certain extent in that we do play better in big games away from home. Is this, so obviously it is winnable, because obviously Liverpool are in a bit of a state right now. They hilariously described by Sky Sports as a team in transition, which I find absolutely hilarious. They spent, the best part of 300 mil on new players, and then and current Premier League champions, let's not forget that, and they're called a team in transition, which is hilarious to me. But if we are to win this game, Ethan, where do you think that the keys to victory would be for Manchester United?
I don't know. I guess, for me, it's more of the mental, because in terms of having the players, we have the players. And like Ahmad mentioned, I think Liverpool are a bit overrated. We've been seeing Van Dijk make these, I'm picturing Ahmad running onto, Van Dijk, and something
No.
can happen there. But, I wouldn't put it past United for Verts to get something there. Yes, he's first wherever there. I don't know. I think we can win it if we're direct, but I think I don't know. I think I don't know.
Do you think Ahmad is one of the keys to like getting at that defense then? Because him and Mbeumo had like a decent game in the last one out against Sunderland. I know it's different types of opposition, but do you feel like that's going to be like a key area that they can possibly get at Liverpool, especially with Kirkes playing there and not being in the best of form?
I think for this game, the main focus will probably be in the midfield. If we can have Bruno getting a good game, I think we can unlock that door. Because I think United mainly through this game, we don't play through our midfield, and which tends to leave our midfield a bit open. And Liverpool, their midfield is, as we know, if they get it right, with Gravenberch and so I think McAllister, and I don't know why Szoboszlai is playing right back now, but Verts as well. So I think if we get it right in the midfield, I think we'll win the game. But
Yeah.
I'm not
Paul-
too.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tricky
Yeah.
one. I'm not entirely
Yeah.
sure I'll be watching it because it's the type of game that would make me furious. A weekend ruiner, as I like to call them as I get older. And I know it's like work the following day, but I still don't need it in my life. I'll watch it for the first 10 minutes until we go goal behind. Paul, is there any sort of like glimmer of hope from the Sunderland game? I know they're different opponents, but were there any signs within that you look at and you go, if we can take that into this game at Anfield, that could be a big thing for us, and that could be something that creates a bit of chaos that we can win with.
How we start games is how I've been impressed. First 5-10 minutes, I think we've been getting at teams. Whether you can do that at Anfield, where they will obviously go on the front foot. It's always a test for United players, the first 10-15 minutes at Anfield. Go direct. Don't make any silly mistakes at the back. I think you can take the positiveness of the first 10 minutes. Just don't concede an early goal. I say this against City and I say this against Liverpool away. Just don't concede an early goal and get yourself into the game. Just calm it down a bit. Get the crowd a bit quiet. Because that crowd will go quiet. The first 10-15 minutes, they'll be up, and then all of a sudden it'll just go silent. Never gets spoken about in the press, though, does it? I was just looking at the table. We're 5 points behind Liverpool. Supposedly the worst United team ever. We're 5 points behind them. So I think it's got a draw. Well, I know you'll probably come later on, but I think it's got draw written all over it. I also believe there's no better time to go at Liverpool. They've got players missing. They've lost 3 games in a row. They've got players that haven't settled in. Give Verts a clattering in the first 10 minutes. Why not? And he'll go hiding again. I'm not. I wouldn't say I was confident. I'm confident every time United play. I just always see the positiveness. But I don't. Because they've got injury problems. The 2 centre halves seem to be going downhill. The careers seem to be going backwards. Kanate is awful. I think Robertson will start because I don't think Kirkes has made a good start. Robertson's legs have gone like just as bad as Casemiro's have. My worry is with the starting that he won't start Ahmad. I think he'll probably go with Dalot or Mazraoui. I've just been seeing Mazraoui. Yeah, he's possibly fit.
Yeah.
If their fullbacks are struggling for legs, let Ahmad run right at him. Let Ahmad get at Robertson. I know the right back, can't remember his name.
Frimpong.
Frimpong.
No, Frimpong's injured, isn't it? Who's been starting for them at right back? Young
Bradley.
lad.
Fri-
Yes,
Frimpong
Connor
isn't
Bradley.
injured, by the way.
Conor
Oh, is he
Bradley.
Frimpong
back
isn't
now?
injured, by the way. He's just
Right.
on the bench.
Oh.
Connor
'Cause
Bradley's
he-
been
'cause
playing,
they
hasn't he? And he's been
has.
struggling as well. So get at them. I would personally not start Sesko. There is my big statement. I would start with.
Who would you start?
I would start Cunha up front, and I would start with Mason Mount. That is what. That's where I would go.
Ahmad is looking like he's well. I don't know. Like you've just shocked him with some kind of mad news because
Yeah.
I think you've done
I
that
think-
with all of us. But Ahmad, what are you thinking about that crazy idea? No Sesko.
I mean, I see where he's coming from, but no, like we definitely need, because Sesko is our only outlet going long, and we're definitely not going to be playing it out of the back, like through midfield or playing out of the back, because we're gonna lose the ball and we're gonna invite pressure to ourselves unnecessarily. We're gonna have to go direct. We're gonna have to go long. Sesko's the only one who can hold up the play. So for sure,
Would you drop Mason Mount or Cunha then? Who would you start?
This is what I've been thinking of for the past 2 weeks. Actually, I don't know. I have no idea. But I think Mount starts. Mount has to start.
Yeah, man.
Cunha maybe is still not up to pace yet, especially after his injury. But I think Mount, you need his energy in the midfield. He keeps on running. He keeps on running after the players. So I think we need that.
I agree.
think one of the other key issues for that as well is whether or not Cunha plays. Is they have just Brazil played in I think South Korea recently, or maybe in
Yeah.
Japan. But they've been on the other side of the world and they're traveling back, I think, today. They played 2 games there, one against South Korea and one
Okay.
against Japan. And I think they drew and lost. I
Yeah.
think that was what it was. So that the obviously the travel is going to have play a huge factor on it. But I don't mind if Mount can stay fit. He gives us what we were promised, which is an amazingly energetic utility player, which I don't think that's underrated in this day and age. Do you know what I mean? He's not just a specialist in, he can only do this, or he plays off the wing and he does this and he does that. He can do everything at a 7 out of 10. That's what you need. That's what you need higher up the pitch. You need that type of player that can do those things. For me, I would be going Sesko up front. I think it's I think he's got the pace to easily outsprint Kanate and Van Dijk. I think he's also got the strength, and he showed that against Sunderland as well. I think he had a couple of lads hanging off his back at one point, and he still managed to get the ball away, which was, just shows how strong he is. And also, when you're in when you're in the team and you're having a run of games, I think it's better to have him in just for that consistency, just to keep it going. I like what you're saying. Sorry, I don't like what you're saying about Ahmad probably not starting. But I can see why that might happen. But that, as I said last week, Ahmad and Bumo down that flank, that's where you're going to get in at them. That's where you're going to cause those problems. That's where Robertson's going to struggle. That's where Kirkes is going to struggle. Doesn't matter who they put into that position. They're going to have to double up, and it's just going to create space elsewhere. In terms of defence, then, Ethan, who would you go with in those 3 centre-back roles? Or did they pick themselves?
I think we need to go with De Ligt, obviously. I think also we need to go with Euro. I think Shaw is always going to play. Yeah, Shaw is. I don't know how Shaw has survived this long, but Shaw is always going to play. So I think that's probably the best course of action there. But I think for our defense, I think if Ekitike plays, it's going to be a big problem. Who do you guys think would be more of a problem, Ekitike or Isak, for our defense?
I think probably even if I was racing up to play against that Manchester United defence, I'd probably be a problem for him at the moment. But I think whoever plays, they've just got to be on it like for 90 minutes. They can't afford to switch off, which is why Luke Shaw for me doesn't get into that starting lineup, because he will switch off at some point in the game. Same with Darrow as well. Cannot trust these players to be playing in those games and play for 90 minutes where they don't have to be told exactly what they have to do every second, every minute. So I think the news about Lisandro Martinez coming back from his injury and potentially aiming for end of October games. I think the Brighton game, I think he was targeting. That's great news. Will he come back the same player that he was when he got injured, before he got injured? Who knows? Aiden Heaven, I think he's carrying a knock, and has been for a while. He's pretty slim on that left side of centre-back role. I think Tyler Fredrickson is probably the only fit other person that can play there apart from Shaw right now, which is depressing. Yeah, but I prefer him on the right.
I prefer him on the left.
But I think he's got a better understanding with Ahmad and Mbumo down that side. Some of his distribution that he was doing again, in the last few games, he just felt like he was creating more of an understanding with them. He can play all across that defence. I'm not arguing with you at all. He can play in any of those positions. But in terms of if you take him out of there, who do you put at right centre back?
I would put De Ligt and Maguire centre back, or Mazraoui centre back.
Oh man, I'm leaving. I'm out of this.
No. You need Maguire. You need Maguire in these games, trust me.
Oh no!
I wouldn't have Maguire making a brew. No chance. I wouldn't put him in charge at brews.
Guys, why are you flipping against Maguire for suddenly? Because he's been good for the past season.
For me personally, I don't mind Harry Maguire. I think he's a good servant for Manchester United. I'm not exactly enthralled by the fact that he might be getting a new contract and extending his stay. I also think Casemiro shouldn't be getting an extended contract either, which was reported this week. But I think the issue that we've got now is when you look at that game, especially the Brentford one, you look how Ruben Amorim wants to play with this back three, and you mentioned this before as well, Ahmad, a few episodes ago. We need to play a high line, and we need to play aggressively for the players to get back up the pitch and to fill in those gaps when we're on the attack. Harry Maguire hasn't got the legs to get back. And if you're playing him and De Ligt is quick across, in terms of top speed, but his acceleration is not good. Yeah. He needs he's like a jumbo jet. He needs a bit of runway to be able to get off the ground. But when if you're Isak, Ekitike, Gakpo looking at Maguire and De Ligt, you'll have a field day against that. So when I'm talking about Maguire, laughing at it and saying that I'm leaving, I think that if you're playing those, you're hoping that you're going to get long balls in the box, which Brentford did, and we still lost to them. With Liverpool, it'll be totally different. It'll be all on the ground. It'll be running. It'll be passing and moving, and they'll be trying to get in behind. And Maguire and De Ligt is a recipe for disaster for that.
Yeah, but why would we play a high line against Liverpool? It's if we've watched other games this season.
Block.
Yeah, they struggled. They struggled
to win the game, I guess.
No. Liverpool struggled against teams that play low block. But if you play a high line, that's when you're setting up yourself for a disaster.
If we invite pressure, if we play a low block and we're defending against Liverpool, we'll lose heavily.
No,
that's what I believe anyway.
I don't think so. Because
if we're set up to just sit back and wait for them to attack and hit on the counter attack, I think it's just inviting too much pressure, and especially if we go a goal down in those early moments. If we concede a goal in those early moments, they will flake and they will crumble.
This is what I wanted to say as well. We have to take our chances, because against Liverpool, you always get a chance first 10, 15 minutes. You always get a chance, no matter what team you are. If you're Sunderland, if you're United, if you're Arsenal, you always get a chance, and we have to score that. Even I was thinking back to the 7-0 that we lost. That first half, we should have went into halftime winning. That's insane when you think about it. We were dominating the game. We had chances. I think we had 3-4 clear-cut chances, but we couldn't score.
Yeah.
And then we conceded I think at the end of the half, and then we crumbled. But last season we had chances as well. The season before we had chances, but you have to take your chances. And
same in the City game, Ahmed, wasn't it? We had chances then. We looked like we started well, didn't we? And then like you say, it's really important to take your chances. It is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Andy, why would you play a high line? I don't see the point of playing a high line, because their players they would thrive playing against the high line. If you look at Vert slipping those passes in, he needs space to pass the ball into. That's when you're telling him just do your thing. But when he plays against a low block, that's when he struggles. Isak, he needs space to run into. Salah, the same. Gakpo, the same. Like there's no reason to play a high line because we're gonna get exposed. So you play a low block, you play on the counter, and because their defense is not that strong, honestly.
The only that like I agree with a majority of what you're saying there. The only one that I would question is the Florian Wirtz one, because I think the problem that he's had at the moment is he can't deal with the pace of the Premier League. So in Germany, you get like a lot of time to basically be on the ball, pick out your pass, look around, see what's going on. The teams that have done the best against Florian Wirtz have shut him down quickly. So when you talk about that high line, that's where it comes into play. Even if you're just pushing up so that the midfielders can push onto him, like that's where they basically nullified any threat that's come from Florian Wirtz at all. If you leave him in acres of space, it's like leaving Bruno. If you leave him in acres of space to do something, he'll pick out a pass. But if you're on him, he'll cock it up, and then you could be in on the attack. So I'm not entirely sure about the Florian Wirtz part of it, but yeah, I agree largely with what you were saying. Okay, we all seem pretty positive about who's going to win. Or we all seem pretty positive about the actual match. Ethan, score prediction. What have you got?
I think it's going to be like a 3-1 to United.
Ooh,
United.
scorching.
I think it's time.
Scorching. Okay, I mean, I don't hate it. Ahmad?
2 goals from Sesko. Let's go.
I'll take it. Who scores the third one?
Oh, I don't know. Emo? No, no. Mount's playing probably Mount. Mount scores the first goal.
Yeah.
Mount scores the first goal. Sesko scores the last
scores
two.
the first goal, then Sesko scores the last two. Okay, I'll clip that up for the weekend. That's good. Right, Ahmad, what do you reckon, mate?
I think it's gonna be a 0-0 draw.
I'm not.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
I mean, I'll take it. I will take it as well.
Right now.
I will
I'll
take it.
I'll take it.
I will take it. Cropper, what you saying, mate?
Score draw. 1-1, 2-2. That's what I think.
See, I was going to go with 2-2, but I
hang on.
also, and I bet. Go on.
Depends which keeper.
Oh, buying days in net. I'm not even
No.
tuning in.
Yeah, I'm not gonna watch.
Yeah.
Not gonna watch.
Turning it straight off. Bayern there. No. Think off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not a chance. Not a chance. But I was going to say score draw. I was going to say like 2-2. But I'm sure all of us have that just tiny bit of fear at the back of our minds where it could be an absolute shellacking. And hopefully it isn't that, because that would be miserable. But Ethan, do you play FPL? I can't remember. Do you play Fantasy Premier League?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because we have got a Fergie Scum league. But at this point, whenever we talk about the next fixture, we always talk about who the FPL pick would be. So who would be your Manchester United player that you would put in your team this week? Who do you think is going to get the points?
I think I just always go with Bruno. I think Bruno's just like a safety buy. It's just a safety buy. So people go with Bruno. Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Ahmad?
Maybe Sesko. Yeah, like
Oh,
even though I said like 0-0, but like I mean, he's the only one I can imagine like doing something. If we ever score, I think like it's just gonna be like a scruffy goal that he might.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Sesko, Cropper,
Bruno. Penalty.
Bruno
on
penalties.
penalties.
Not after what you dropped in our WhatsApp group the other day.
Yeah, he can't miss 3 in a row, can he? Yeah. Well, that was a good fact. That what if he scored his last 2 penalties, we'd be second. The worst United team ever.
I know, but he's coulda, shoulda, woulda though, isn't it? You know, his football is not predictable. But my choice, and I'm surprised none of you went for it. Mbeumo is my choice. I think he's been getting closer and closer to getting a goal in there. Nice assist for Mount last week.
Yeah.
But I think he's ready to hit a purple patch, and you know, I'd love it to start at Anfield. Right, Cropper, there might be 4 of us here, but you're the one to open the Gummers Mailbag, so get it open.
Yep.
Let's see what's inside.
Not really a question from Dino, but he's put, did you see the Athletic article about Sesko when they surveyed 20 agents about the worst purchase?
So we all saw
Yes.
it, didn't we? Am I
Yeah, you-
correct in saying
I
that?
think Ahmad put it in the group. And as I said, I think probably 24 hours after it was posted. Sorry about that, lads. I think that the 6 agents that said that the Sesko deal was the worst deal in the Premier League of the summer transfer window was 6 agents that could not get their clients to Manchester United last season. That's what I think. Or this season, sorry. So I think
It's
they've got
outrageous.
a personal grievance. They looked at it and just went, yeah, Sesko. Like even if you go into the most like forensic detail of that deal, there's nothing about it that suggests that it's bad. It's a right price for the talent that he is, for the amount of goals that he's previously scored. This isn't a Højlund. This is a player that's actually scoring on the big stage, scoring in the Champions League as well. Like he's not a raw talent. So I think it's mischief making again. And the Florian Wirtz one, I mean, ask them again this time next year.
Yeah.
And let's have a look at which Premier League player it is. But who did you guys think it was in terms of like just a bad deal in the Premier League? Just
I
a bad
think-
fit, I guess.
I think for me was Isak. I know Isak was going to Liverpool, but I think it ended up being all right. Just come, because I think when Ekitike started and we're seeing, how Ekitike is playing, how he's just fitting in. I think it ended up just being like, okay, I've already asked for him. He's doing all this, so he can come. But I think if you actually ask Slot, like after the first 2 games of the season, do you still want Isak? He'd be like, no, I don't mind. He can stay. But I think that's the worst so far. With a price tag and
I think, it's. I mean, I've got a very obvious one, but I'll keep asking you guys first. Ahmad, who did you think was like the worst Premier League signing, or just a bad deal for a club?
I mean, it would be very easy to look at the Liverpool deals like Isaac and Wirtz, I think, but I think they're gonna come good. But for me, and no one seems to be talking about it, it's Gittins at Chelsea. Like they spent around
Oh, yeah.
50 million
Yeah.
pounds on him,
Yeah.
and whenever he plays, like I wouldn't pay 5 million for him. Like honestly, and no one's talking about it. If it was at United, honestly, this is what it is with
Yeah.
United. Like it's insane, and he only got 1 vote in that Athletic article, which was insane to me as well. But yeah, like he looks so bad. Like he looks so bad.
It is a rough deal. It's not bearing any fruit just yet. Cropper, have you got?
Obvious one. Anybody that's willing to take Jadon Sancho's wages on it's a ridiculous deal.
High five, mate. High five. That's who I had as well.
Why would anybody look at Jadon Sancho and think, yeah, we'll have him. That's ridiculous. What a stupid thing. The United agenda's real though, going back to the question. It's six votes. Absolutely unreal in it, but I don't expect anything less. Yeah. Get out, Jadon Sancho.
If anyone wants any further literature on Jadon Sancho, do go and search his name on any social media platform right now, and you will see a quite outrageous, scandalous story that's going around about him, which just, I mean, he's being dragged. He's being absolutely dragged. But yeah, Sancho for me. The last question that I've got is from Damien, who said, it's a big one, so I'll give you time to think about it before you have to answer. Should Marcus Rashford have been afforded more time at Manchester United?
No.
Paul's already shaking his head. He's saying no.
No. I'm obviously saying no. Yeah. He didn't want to be there. Anybody that didn't want to be at the club, as far as I'm concerned, there's the door. Don't let it hit you in the backside on the way out. As far as if you don't want to be there and you show that sort of attitude in training, no, good riddance. No. And I've not seen anything since he's gone to make me change my mind. No, I'm glad he's gone.
Do you know, did you see the Roy Keane clip from the England game the other night where he was talking about Rashford? Where Rashford is kind of trying to paint a completely different picture of his time at Manchester United, where he's saying, that reset hasn't started. That was one of his first interviews he said when he signed at Barcelona. The reset hasn't been done. The culture wasn't right and all of this lot. But Roy Keane just came out and said, yeah, but you're one of the senior players. You were responsible for that. And you can't just absolve yourself of that type of responsibility. Those young players coming in or anyone joining the club, they're looking to you as like a Manchester United legend or stalwart, whatever it is. They're looking at you and they're seeing what you're doing, not turning up to training or turning up late, going on a bender in Belfast. They're seeing all of these things and they're going, oh, we can get away with it here because that's what he's doing. So I kind of I see it from Roy Keane's point of view totally. But I'll ask the both of you. Ethan, do you think he should have been given more time at Manchester United?
No, just like Paul saying, once you don't want to be there, he's not gonna put in any effort at all. So I think it was time for him to go. Yeah.
Ahmad, you wanted him to stay, right? You're biggest Rashford fan, yeah. You got that tattoo on your back.
You sure? You sure? I don't know where you're getting these rumors from, but no, it was
If it's
long
not true,
overdue.
take your shirt off. If it's not true, take your shirt off.
No. If you see who I have on the back of my shirt, you're gonna know like what I think. It's
Is it Dallo?
yeah,
Have you
for
been
sure.
an undercover Dallo
Yeah.
fan all this time?
I need something to wipe the floor with. But no, Rashford. He had a lot of chances, and it's not like he's been at the club for like 3-4 years only. Like, okay, he had that purple patch 2-3 years ago. Otherwise,
Yeah.
his attitude always he's a moments player. Like that is what I
Yeah.
say. He's a moments player. He's a confidence player, and maybe you can afford to have that player at other clubs that are well established and are more ahead in their like project or whatever. For example, if Rashford was at Liverpool, I think he'd be doing well. But for us, it never made sense for us or for him. And like you said, his attitude was so bad. Like the amount of
Mm.
stories that were coming out, even the stuff that we heard last year, I'm not sure how true they were, but if they are like even 10% true, then for sure he should have been gone a long time ago.
Yeah. With
Plus,
that in mind, and just before we end the podcast, sorry, Ethan, was you going to say something then, mate?
I was gonna say like that purple patch was contract season when he wanted a new contract.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't even call it a purple patch. He was playing for a contract. So I think just to the back
Just
of Ahmad.
got to put them on shorter contracts, just on a yearly rolling contract or a 0 hours one where you really hope that it gets re-upped in the next month or so. But with that in mind, we were talking about Rashford. Obviously, he could be back at Old Trafford next season. Who knows? Because it depends. It totally depends how it goes at Barcelona. Are there any of the players that we sold in the summer or were out on loan that you would take back into this Manchester United team this season? Cropper.
Not that I can think of. No, I think the only reason that they're out on loan is because nobody else will buy them on permanent deals or take the wages on.
Or sold, or any of the players that we sold.
No, I think we've done the right thing in moving them out of the club, and just onwards and upwards without this baggage that a lot of them came with.
Ahmad?
No, honestly, the only one I can make a case for is McTominay. Yeah, that was 2 seasons ago.
That was
2 seasons ago,
I know,
that
I
was
know.
2 seasons.
Yeah.
But like otherwise, no, I don't think people now are having some like revision. What is it called? Revisionism.
Revisionism.
With Højlund, saying that we made a mistake. The issue is obviously United, not Højlund. Honestly, people forget so quickly. This is the thing with football fans. Like their memory is so short. It's so short. So no, like there's no one. Literally no one.
Okay. Ethan, anyone for you?
Same as the lads. No one for me. Højlund,
No one?
absolutely not. No way.
The one, just to play devil's advocate with that, I'd rather have Højlund in and Xerxes out on loan at Napoli right now.
Really?
The only reason why I say that, is because it doesn't look like there's a position for Xerxes in this team right now. Whereas if you was going to play the same sort of like football as you're doing now, whether it works with Højlund or not, The lad wanted to stay at Manchester United. He loved the club. He did not want to leave at all. So, he was keen to stay and fight for his position, which is, rare when we talk about these players at the football club. But Xerxes just seems to be like in no man's land. So if it came down to it, it would be Højlund back, Xerxes out, and I don't think he'd be doing quite as well at Napoli as Højlund is right now.
In terms of quality, Xerxes or Højlund for you guys?
Xerxes
different
can't
players.
shoot, by the way. Xerxes cannot shoot. If you look back at his last, his last 10 shots for club and country, 100%. You look at the way that he's positioning his foot and his leg, and you'll be like, what is he doing? Everything feels like it's a side footer. Everything feels like it's like a pass on the ground. And I know kids get taught that these days, like to keep it low and hard. I mean, they were teaching it even in my day, and that's going back a while. But he can't shoot. Xerxes cannot shoot. He's good at link up, but he just can't shoot. So I'll let you boys answer, and then we'll end it. But Ahmad, Xerxes or Højlund in terms of skillage?
No, Xerxes. Xerxes. The unfortunate thing is like he doesn't have a place in this team because of how Amorim wants to play. But I still think he's gonna come in this season and he's gonna show how good he is, because I do think he has a lot to give. Maybe if you put him in a team that actually plays more of a false nine, I think he's perfect for that, because he's so good. Like for his size, he's huge. He's actually, I wouldn't say he's fast, but he's okay, and he can play with both feet, and he's so silky on the ball, and he has an eye for a pass. He has an eye for goal. He can score headers. So yeah, and he can control the ball, which is something I can't say for Højlund, to be honest.
Paul?
I'd probably
think
go with
Xerxes?
Xerxes as well. Yeah, I'd probably go with Xerxes. I think he
Okay.
gives you a different option. So if you were bringing Højlund off the bench, he's a similar type
Yeah.
of player to Sesko.
Like
if
for
you see
like.
what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Xerxes gives you a bit more unpredictability, and just thinking as a defender, if you're playing against him, to be honest, the change up, he'd come deep, he'd get the ball, he'd touch, he'd be better. Like you say, more of a false nine, more like a Firmino type of player, if you like, as opposed to a battering ram. So yeah, just purely because it's a different option. That's why I'd go with Xerxes.
Right. Fair to say. Right then, that's the end of the podcast. Thanks again for joining us, Ethan. Thank you very much, mate.
Thank you, guys.
Ahmad, cheers for coming on, as
Alright.
always.
All right, I'll try to come on more often.
Yes, hopefully so. And Paul, as always, back to your Shiljit, but good seeing you, mate.
Good to see you, lads.
Don't forget to sign up to TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube under Fergie's Gum podcast, and also sign up for the newsletter, which is on Substack, which again is Fergie's Gum. With that said, we will speak to you again after the Liverpool game at Anfield.